there's an idea we have about what religion implies or entails. It's, for us, is mainly a devotion to a higher being. But there's something I think we all need to understand, that religion, first and foremostly, primarily entails a way of doing something, a lifestyle, a pattern. That's what it firstly entails. Before it becomes any other thing outside of that, that is what it entails. It's like seeing someone who has a pattern. Let's say he has a gym routine, and you see him sticking to it in a very uncompromising manner. He's very steadfast in the way he goes about it. You can refer to him as being a very religious person in that sense, because he's holding on to that lifestyle, that pattern of doing something. That's what makes him a religious person in that thing. So before you tie it to a belief in, let's say, a divine being or whatever, that divine being also has a lifestyle he expects followers or those who believe in him to carry on. It's like let's say having the Christian sect who believe that there is a God who expects us to live in a certain way. There's the Islamic sect who believe that their own God, or still the same God, but he expects them to live in a certain way. So you now get to see that even our take on religion as a belief in a higher being still pinpoints or showcases the need or the essence of religion being a way of living, a lifestyle. Because in this Christian sect, you see there's a pattern, there's a lifestyle that Christians profess to live by, a code. The same thing in Islam, the same thing in the Buddhist sect. So it shows you that firstly, religion is first a way of doing something, a lifestyle.
Yes, that is actually true. And if we go by this saying that God is not the author of religion. He wants to approach humanity from the same stance. So actually religion, as you have just said, a lifestyle curated by men, and then they find maybe those practicing the same kind of lifestyle, and they form, religious bodies, like maybe the Christian religion. They find those that have the same belief, then they call it Christianity. The Islamist sect, or group, they form their own believers, those that believe in it, and they call it Islamism. The Buddhists, the traditional worshippers, everybody seems to want to bring those that have the same pattern of living, together and associate themselves as, living that under that sect, having answering the name, they call themselves something. But the essence of what we are trying to say here now is the fact that religion, as created by men, is not authored by God. What do I mean by that? God's approach to men is mankind, the whole of mankind, humanity, is all his own. So his approach to each and every one of us is on an individual basis. Which means whether you answer a Christian, or whether you answer a Muslim, or whether you answer a Buddhist, or whatever you want to answer, God's attention is on you. He's irrespective of any of these names. That is why we are now trying to advocate, or bring out this lifestyle that transcends any of these sects as they are, to let us understand that God's relationship with us is not as a basis of those sects that we have formed for ourselves.
Yeah.
You know, God's relationship with us is as individuals that we are. And then his whole plan is to form those characters and let us live in the principles, you know, and that align with what his plan for creating us is. You know, that is just what it is all about. You know, so putting religion aside, you know,
the way we know it.
Our advocation now is for men to understand that we all are important to God. There is no segregation with God because he has created each and every one of us. So his attention is as much to the Christian as it's to the Muslim, as it's to the Buddhist, as it's to the traditional worshiper, as to any other sect, you know, that exists. His attention to us as to from a creator to his creature. That is how the relationship is. So if we men can come to the understanding of how God sees us, you know, it will help us in how we see ourselves. You know, because most of the antagonisms that come because of religious differences is because we are seeing ourselves as different from each other. You know, we forget the fact that we have one source and we are all coming from one source. We do not see ourselves. The Christian man doesn't see the Muslim man as coming from the same source as he is. But that is the truth of the matter. You know, we are all coming from the same source. So if we can begin to see ourselves, you know, as God is seeing us, we will find out that our relationships with one another will be different. You know, these religious conflicts that we have will not be in existence anymore because we are now looking at ourselves as one. And you find out you cannot fight yourself. You know.
That's actually the very funny thing, because we always say it, maybe it's just lip service that we are all coming from the same source, but in our exhibitions,
in practice,
in our exhibitions, it shows that there's a divide,
a discrimination.
You know, there's this level of discrimination, because a Christian, let's say a Christian man wouldn't see a Muslim man and embrace him, even though he doesn't do that wholeheartedly, because for him, he sees a difference in their lifestyle. They live differently, they profess different things. So, but the question I always ask is this: if we are all coming from the same source, which we say is God, and the fact that no individual, irrespective of whatever religious or political beliefs he has, willed himself into existence, it simply means that the one who predicated our existence is the one who should, in fact, show us how to live.
Exactly.
So if actually there is meant to be an establishment of religion in the sense of a worship of a higher being, it should be that spirit who brought about each and every one of us
to show us
regardless
the way,
regardless of our belief system, to show us the way.
Exactly. Yes.
And unfortunately, which is the most unfortunate part of the whole equation, is that our relationship to that supreme being, or to that being we claim to be above us, is an operation that works in a vacuum. We don't have any tangible relationship with him. We just assume that we can talk to the sky and get feedback from him, because come to think of it, we say communication is, you know, shared.
It's a two-way thing.
It's a two-way street. You know, I talk to you and I get feedback from you. It's not just about talking to you. I talk to you and I get feedback from you. I say what I want and you respond to it, and we move forward. We have communicated. So when we are acting on something, or when I'm acting on something, it's based on
communication,
correspondence. Yes. So it's based on something that we have talked about, and I could hear feedback from you. That is what we say communication is.
Yes.
But when it comes to the actual practice of that same communication with that divine being, there's no feedback. So we just do whatever thing that comes to us when we talk to that imaginary sky or that imaginary being in the sky. When we talk to him and we just sit back and whatever comes to us, we exhibit
as per feelings.
Yes, we exhibit it, and it's those exhibitions that are set the divide, because each and every one of us now has
his own interpretation,
his own idea, his own interpretation of what he thinks that being expects of him. So when your idea and mine aligns, we agree and we become a set, or we become a group. And when it doesn't agree, we become adversaries.
You're different.
We don't see eye to eye because our beliefs are now different. And beliefs transcend just having thoughts in the head. It showcases in the way we operate, the way we do our things. It showcases what we believe or what we think is in our head. Like a very strict Islamic would tell you that he doesn't take alcohol, he doesn't take certain kinds of meat. It's not just a belief he has in his head. He showcases it in the way he lives that his life. The way he carries out his activities. He showcases that thing we call belief in action. That is what belief actually means. An exhibition of
what you're thinking.
Of what your thought is. That's what the belief is. So, but what I'm trying to say in essence is this: as long as our communication or our relationship with God is as us as a tangible people, and him as a spirit that operates in a vacuum, all we will ever know to do, what we ever think that is coming from him as a source of inspiration or knowledge, will be based on assumptions. And once anything about God is assumed, it amounts to wrong judgment. Because as far as I've come to know right now, the only way we can actually get to know what that being wants of us, expects of us, is when we can hear from him, when we can actually get direction from him, not from a vacuum, but a physical and tangible being we can see, we can hear from, we can hear his voice as he speaks to us to show us how we are supposed to live. Because when you even look at it, whatever religious group or set that there is, at some point, now we have books that we read. We call them, whether it's the Christian set is the Bible, whether it's the Islam set is the Quran, or the Buddhist, or
many writings.
There are so many supposed religious books that supposedly should show believers how they are supposed to live. And by the time you follow the sequence in which most of those books are written, if not all, you get to see that at a point, there was always someone who was on ground showing the people how they were supposed to live.
Yes.
Be it the prophets, in quotes, as it was written in the Bible, down to the time there was a supposed Jesus, according to the writings of the Bible, or you are referring to the Quran, where there is a Muhammad. No, I'm trying to point out a sequence in which those things are written. There was always somebody. The people who were supposedly living at the time those events took place had
somebody speaking to them and somebody who they were following.
Yes.
That, just hold on.
Yeah.
That is actually the picture that the Supreme Being wants us to see.
Yeah.
That there has to be somebody
exactly
showing how to do it.
Yeah.
So for you not to have somebody that you can see, communicate with, in the way of give directions, get feedback, show how those principles could actually be lived out.
Yeah.
In the absence of that, there is no pursuit of getting to know who this our creator is. Because for our creator, you see all these distinctions that we see, it is still him that has orchestrated them.
Yeah.
And his reason for orchestrating it was that when he saw the failings of man that he has made as we are, he had to now develop a means of getting us back in the path that he wants, which is the path back to him.
Yeah.
And that is how come about the creation of God, and the creation of God was to be the one by whom he was going to restore that relationship back to him, in the sense of having someone that is going to physically show his people how to walk back to him. You know, that is his plan. You know, there is nothing that is happening that was not orchestrated by the supreme being. You know, so as we see it, all we are saying is there is no need for religious sect fighting each one. There is absolutely no need for it to be occurring, because it does not solve anything. And man man relates with each other, there is no way we can bring about that unity by ourselves. You know, it can never happen. The unity that the supreme being wants to foster among his creation is only going to be made possible with the presence of God. It is only God that can form that unity that focuses everybody's eye back on the roots, back to our creator. You know, and in the absence of that, every other thing that we are doing amounts to nothing. So until we get that very clear, you know, we will understand that religion, as in sects of lifestyle, like in Christian, Islamic, Buddhism, traditional worship, and all that, it will not get us anywhere. The only way that we can really have a meaningful relationship with our Creator is to begin to look for and begin to put our ears down to find out where that his God that he is going to use to unite all of us is, so that we pay heed to him, listen to what he has to let us know, and know how we can reconcile ourselves back to him, so that those attributes that he has promised all that follow his path and go his way will eventually come to us. In the absence of that, we are just wasting our time.